Coach, good morning. How you doing? Waffle Sports 1080.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's my birthday. It's Marcel's birthday, so I'm sending a shout out to my guy Marcel.
You
Happy
got two
birthday.
birthdays, huh? Happy
Great,
birthday to both of you.
great minds think alike.
All right, there you go.
But Coach, 27-3, 70% a clip, over 300 yards. What I looked at the most was how Josh was able to anticipate where the target will be. So how basically were you impressed to see that develop in this game?
Yeah, and I've said this plenty of times before. I mean, Josh is a guy that's come in, that's worked hard, that aims to improve every day, and has done that since he's been here. I have total confidence in him as a player and as a person, and he just needs to keep grinding out. We all do, keep grinding out, getting better. Working with one another. A long way to go still, but again, the confidence that I have in Josh will never waver. He's a hard-working quarterback. He's a hard-working player. He's a good leader. But we got a long way to go still.
Excellent. And, some things, the forgottables I would like to mention. And last year you brought Tyler Croft in to be that number one guy, that safety valve, if you will, for Josh, a veteran guy coming in, dealing with injuries, didn't get the opportunity to, get those reps. And now that he's fully healthy, where do you see him progressing in this offense this year?
Yeah, he's had a good camp. He's been very dependable. He's smart. He's tough. Again, you make the most of your opportunities out there. And each week is a new week based on matchup and what we think will give the defense issues. And, we got to be ready. All the guys that are the skill guys suited up need to be ready to go.
Absolutely. Hey, well, Coach, so far so good. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you and good day.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, I know it's not something that you can tangibly gauge, but we've heard the word continuity so many times this offseason, and especially that comes to the forefront with no preseason games and whatnot. From your standpoint, how does it feel like things are going offensively now, maybe compared to a year ago?
Yeah, again, continuity is not as important as playing well and doing your job. You could be together for a long time and go out there and not play well or coach well or do things well, and it really doesn't matter. And our whole focus is taking each day as they come and really making the most out of them. The more things you can do on a consistent basis, you give yourself a better chance. It's always important to have chemistry with, particularly in the passing game, with the guys that you're throwing the ball with and throwing to, and there's different body languages and different indicators on breaks. So that's really the important thing, and the thing that we work on every day. We try to do that during special teams periods with the guys that aren't involved in special teams. If we got to do it a little bit during practice, during some other periods where maybe the other guys aren't working as much, we're going to do that. We have, we got a lot of work to do, but we're building. We've been making strides, we've been making progress, but long ways to go.
As the guy calling the shots, what have your first impressions been, at least in this kind of setting, of Gabriel Davis? Because he's probably been the most talked about guy for fans and maybe for media these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brandon and Joe and those guys have all done a really good job of, since I've been here, bringing in guys that are smart, tough, dependable, that we like to try to count on as early as we can. And those guys, to their credit, they're the ones that have to go out there and do it. And whether it was Gabe or Zach or Isaiah this year, or Motor or Dawson or Cody, there's always going to be some growing pains early on. But those are guys that work really hard and try to improve every day. And when they make plays, we'll try to give them more.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, Coach Daboll, what have you learned about your offense since training camp has started?
That we're still work in progress. That we got to keep practicing. We got to keep doing things better. There's a good group of guys to work with. Start as men off the field, but a group of guys that are committed to trying to do things day in and day out the right way, who are hungry, who are hard workers, who are smart, and who understand that, it takes everybody to keep this ship sailing. We need to keep grinding. We need to keep improving each day, and we need to correct the things that, weren't as good the following day.
Being an offensive coordinator from the collegiate level to the NFL, is there anything that strikes you as different about this group of guys that you haven't had before?
No, I think each year I've coached, each year takes on it, or each team takes on its own identity, whether it be offense, defense, in the kicking game, or collectively. It's such a work in progress. It's never the same as it was the year before. There's new personalities. Maybe there's some new schemes that you put in to fit those new players that you have. And there's going to be trials. There's going to be tribulations. You don't know, how people are going to react until you go through those during the season. But the camaraderie and the commitment to one another to be as good as you can be for the guy next to you, those are important qualities to have.
Thanks, Dabes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach. John Scott. Good to see you.
Hey, John. How you doing?
You look like you're primed to bring the mustache back, by the way.
I don't know about that one. But
wanted to ask you about the right side of the offensive line. And I know Sean said a week ago he was hoping to have that kind of locked in. And yesterday we saw a lot of different combinations. How important from your standpoint is it to solidify who is going to be where on that right side?
Yeah, I think it's important right now in training camp. We talked about this last time. Look, we're gonna mix and match people because you need flexibility in this line. Usually, it's rare that you go through a whole season where it's just the same five guys. So we're still in the process of making sure we're giving everybody an opportunity to go out there and put their best foot forward. Position flexibility is important for any team, but particularly on the offensive line position. You can't have enough guys that can do multiple things. So, we'll figure this thing out here soon enough, but, up to this point and really continuing on here the next few days, it'll be much of the same.
And Leslie just mentioned how, from his standpoint as a defensive coordinator, the thing he's seen the most moving forward from Josh has been his decision-making. From your standpoint as his offensive coordinator, where do you stand in the growth that he's made entering his third season?
Yeah, he's grown since he's been here, day one. He grows every day. He's dedicated to his craft. He's an excellent leader. He understands what we want. He goes out there and he tries to do it on a daily basis. He's got great relationships with the people in the building, not just his teammates, but with everybody in the building. He's the leader of our football team. So we'll just, like he and I always say, we take it day by day, man. We try to get better than the day before, and it's never perfect. We're a long way away from that, but we have good communication. We give and take. I have a lot of trust and faith in Josh.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Brian, Jay with the Buffalo News. How you doing?
Good, Jay. How are you?
Good, thank you. How have you seen Deion Dawkins react since signing that second contract that so many guys are after, a deal that really could provide him, life-altering and life-changing money?
Sure. He's Deion is another guy. When I first got here, I think he's grown so much as a young man, but as a player for us and as a leader. And, he's done a great job with his line teammates, with his offensive teammates, and collectively with the entire team. He's very hungry. He's driven. I'd say hungry is a really good word for him. And that's a good thing to see. That's, he's a young player that's a good player for us and knows that there's a lot of room for improvement. And, he grinds at it every day.
And on Isaiah Hodgins, he's obviously got the NFL bloodlines from his dad playing in the league. What impact do you think that has had on him, and how does that maybe show itself?
Well, I think certainly when you're raised by someone that has had experience in something that they're doing the same thing, I think that probably helps. You have a person that you can lean on, that you trust, that you love, that is there to support you and take you through the ups and the downs. Isaiah's a very level-headed young man. Glad we have him. Big body guy. But he's very consistent, Jay, with his approach of how he does things. He doesn't get too high or too low, and understands that he's a young player that's trying to earn his way.
Thanks. I don't want to monopolize your time. I just have one quick one to follow up on Tyler Croft, who you were asked about earlier. It seemed like the guys really rallied around him last year with what he went through, and the touchdown in Pittsburgh was a really nice moment for him, big moment for the team. What was it about him, or what is it about him, I guess, that made the team react in that way to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just a really good teammate. He doesn't complain about touches or rolls or anything like that. He worked hard coming back for some injuries. He's a quiet person by nature, but a guy that, is willing to put team first in everything he does. And when you're a teammate like that, that goes a long way.
Appreciate it, Brian. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, Brian, Sal Mayron in Rochester. Good to see you.
Hey, Sal. How are you?
Good. I got a couple things for you. First of all, yesterday we saw an awful lot of passing. And I just want to ask, was that more of a function of, it's just kind of hard to work on the running game when you're not tackling full, when you can't be maybe as physical as you want to be? Was that maybe part of why he threw so often yesterday?
Yeah, look, these scrimmages are good scrimmages because you can go out there and, execute some things that maybe the players don't have on a scripted deal for practice. So, we try to go ahead and really think about what we try to accomplish for that day. Plus, it was pretty windy out there, too. So it's really good. It's good practice to get thrown in the wind in both directions in our stadium. As you know, it is a little crosswind sometimes, and then it flips on you. So and able to track the ball and see the movement of the ball, I think it was good work for those guys in the pass game.
And then the other thing I have is on the running game. After watching those two guys, Moss and Singletary, they look almost like the same guy at this point, just in the way they do things, their size, the powerful legs. Can you maybe break down a little bit of, are they really two different guys, or are they kind of just interchangeable?
Yeah, we'd like to be able to, there's sometimes when you have, players, whether it's at the running back spot, at the tight end spot, that, you tag something on a personnel to make sure they get in the game. So you want them to do that. But, with these guys, and I'd add TJ to it, these guys are guys that can, affect you in the passing game and affect you in the running game. Zach and TJ are both, 220 plus, Motor's a little bit under that. So, got good vision, tough, quick, young players, but, ascending players.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Hey, Brian. Matt Fairburn from The Athletic here. Curious what type of impact or what the importance of a guy like Isaiah McKenzie is to what you guys do on offense, given the way, the multiple different things that he can do.
Yeah, Isaiah's when he's been in there for us, he's been productive. It's a very competitive room right now. They all are, but this one's pretty competitive and pretty heated battles. He's got quickness, he's got speed, he's got run after catch, or yards after he touches it. So he's like the little Energizer bunny, man. This guy goes all day long. He's such a hard worker in practice. You're looking at one-on-one tape. You're like, how the heck did Isaiah get up here again? Like, he just keeps going and going and going. So he's a good addition to our room, and he'll create his own role for himself.
And you mentioned earlier in the off season how important it would be for Jake Fromm to win over his teammates. How have you seen them respond to him over the last few weeks now that you guys have been together in person?
Yeah, I think there's been a good dialogue with Jake and those guys. And again, I think that's probably a better question for his teammates, because you'd like to see it through the eyes of those guys. But, there's been good communication with those guys.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, Brian, Matt Perino here. Thanks for your time today. Just a quick question on Cody Ford. How has he handled what you've asked him to do so far throughout camp? And, where have you kind of noticed his maturity level in year two here early on?
Well, I'd say I noticed his maturity level back at the combine when we talked to him 2 years ago. He's a he's a ball guy. He loves the game. He loves everything about the game, from his preparation to his practice to being in a room with the guys. He's very smart. He's a good communicator. He puts the team first. We talk about smart, tough, dependable. There's another one for you there. Have a lot of trust in him, and his value is high to us. That's okay. That happens to me all the time. So he's a really good teammate. He has position flexibility. Glad we have him.
Thanks, Brian.
That's all right. Thanks.
All right, that was the last one for today. Thanks, Daboll.
All good?
Yep.
Thank you. See you guys.